Yo, it's your boy Target from Global Go Pulse. And today I have here with me Frederick, who's an Arsenal fan, and then Daniel, who's a Chelsea fan, and Steven, who's a Liverpool fan. Today we are going to discuss the Champions League that will be coming off this weekend, and also discuss if Arsenal is really the dominant team in England. And then we'll also ask our guests to, let us know which players, current players that they would want to loan, sell, or even new players they would want to buy. We would also talk about the Blaster squad that have been released, though it is not the final 26, but then we all know, two keepers would be dropped and then they will still get the final squad. So stay tuned. We have a lot coming your way. All right, so to my guest, my first question would be, is Arsenal now the football powerhouse of England?
Yeah, so I think, yes, Arsenal is now the English powerhouse based on this season, but we've always been the powerhouse because this Arsenal is not a small club in England. We've always been good. I think what has happened right now is that we are coming to establish a dynasty with Mikel Arteta, right? Because we've been consistent in the last 3 seasons. We've been second. And we finally got in the Holy Grail after Thierry Henry got it for us like 2004, that way, right? So I think we are just coming to start a dynasty. What Man City had with Pep Guardiola, right, I think Arsenal is also going to start the same thing.
So do I think Arsenal is going to be the English powerhouse? Yes, I do. Because if you take it back for the last 3 to 4 years, I think Arsenal has been very good. So they've been either first or number 2 for the past 4 years or 4 seasons. And with what they did this ended season, I think they are on their way to being the English powerhouse. Especially now that the main enemy or the main coach Pep is about to leave. So
I'm hearing good things about my team.
No.
I'm hearing good things.
Because I'm a fair.
Because as a Chelsea fan, I thought you said bad things, but I'm happy you are part of the London Pride.
So I'm a fair individual, and I feel with what Arteta has been able to do, especially for the past, as I said, for the past 3 to 4 years or 3 to 4 years, I feel they are on their way to being the English powerhouse. If you look at their team, especially at the back, and also in the middle of the pack, I feel they have a very strong team. Of course, the attack is not the best, but with what they have
why do you say our attack is not the best?
Well, the attack is not the best because if you take into consideration the goals that they've scored, you don't have any attacker who I can point my hands to and say that this guy is a huge threat.
We have Saka. We have
Bukayo is
we have Gyökeres.
Of course, you say Bukayo is a
we have Trossard.
But with even him, his goals and his numbers are not the best. So,
but he's still won the league.
Of course, of course, that's a fact. But I still think the attack is not the best. And so,
which attack is the best?
Of course, Man City's attack is.
What is their position in the league?
I would say Man City's attack is the best, but I'm saying that
no problem.
Based on everything, goalkeeper, defense, and the midfield, and the coach, and Pep also about to leave, I feel Arteta and Arsenal are on their way to being the English powerhouse. So that's my view on that.
I don't think Arsenal are back to be. I want to put it well. Arsenal are not back to Premier League dominance. Arsenal have always been in the conversation of Premier League dominant teams. The first few years post Arsene Wenger were a little disappointing. I mean, especially the first 3 seasons, they were 8th, and then 5th. And so the first 3 seasons after Arsene Wenger were a little disappointing. But if you go back a decade and a half ago, Arsenal have always been in the conversation of English giants. So I don't think they are back as giants. I mean, every team goes through, the low moments, but Arsenal are in it now. I believe what has happened is Arsenal have cemented their dominance. They have cemented, their position as league leaders, given what they have done in the last 4 years. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Steven. So my next question is that, do Chelsea and Liverpool fans now fear Arsenal? What do you think, Danny?
I'll say yes in a way because for the past 4 years, I think they've been very, very good. And for almost all these years, so we place eighth, fifth, and for the last 2 seasons, we were fourth. And this end of the season, we were actually way, way, way low. So we were 10th. We were 10th. I was trying to hide what
it's a double number.
but we were 10th. So and so I feel whilst we are going in this direction, they are actually going in the right direction. So for me as a Chelsea fan, that's my fear. And then I hope that in this upcoming season with a new coach, we'll be able to change the way we are going or the direction that we are actually going or moving. So that's the only fear that I have, that Arsenal are going in the right direction and we are going in a direction that I don't feel that we need to go. So that's my fear that I have in terms of Arsenal. Apart from that, I think they're a club that do well at times, but in terms of staying at the top for a long time, I don't expect them to stay up top for a long time. So because they have this habit of when it's that time, when it's that crucial time, they try and go off the cliff. So that's what I expect from Arsenal in probably the next 2 or 3 years. But as I said, for fear, I fear, especially this upcoming week. If they win the Champions League, for a Chelsea fan, it's a big deal for me. Because that's one thing.
We are winning.
But that's one thing that we have over them. As a club, they've not won the Champions League before. They are very bad out of England when they go to Europe. So if they win the Champions League this weekend, for a Chelsea fan, it will be terrible.
Okay, I don't think it's just Liverpool and Chelsea fans. I think every club is now scared of Arsenal in one way or the other. And it's not new. Usually when the performance of clubs plummet, they would usually set up a project. And when the project gets to its heights, they become scary. It's very common within the football circles. And after Arsene Wenger in 2019, Arsenal themselves developed a project which they were hoping would get to its heights for them to become scary. And I mean, they have been lucky enough to make the right investment, appoint the right personnel, and now they have become scary. I mean, frankly, I don't think it's just Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. Arsenal beat Real Madrid in their own backyard in the Champions League last season, and so they are fierce. They are scarecrows. Everyone before in the early days of Arteta's era, when clubs were meeting Arsenal, I mean, they were relaxed. They would just go all out and play head on, open the game, be fluid, and come head on. But today, if clubs are meeting Arsenal, one, they are careful. How you would get to know that clubs are actually scared of Arsenal is that today, if any club is meeting Arsenal, they are careful. They are not playing too fluid because they know that Arsenal can hurt you where you're weak. And so all clubs, I believe, are scared of Arsenal in a way. Yeah.
Well, let me be honest. I don't think they are going to be scared of us per se, and I think they are just going to be more careful playing Arsenal. So for a lot of times, a lot of teams took Arsenal for granted because we're not always at the top and we had a lot of fault in our playing style. But because we've won the league, right now we are champions. And it's not only like the big teams, it's also the small teams. Teams that just got into the Premier League from the Championship, when they are playing the champions in their backyard or away, they try to prove a point. Right. So we are going to face teams that are going to play us in a different way. They are going to play us with a like a higher form of intensity, because if you beat Arsenal now, it's a big deal. I mean, if you beat Chelsea, it's not a big deal anymore because you're supposed to beat Chelsea. So that's normal, right? So yeah, because I think their number is that 11 or 10. I couldn't see them from the top, so I don't know what their number is now. But teams like Chelsea and Liverpool, it's normal to beat them. If Aston Villa beats Liverpool, it's not big news. But if Aston Villa beats Arsenal, that's going to make the headlines. And at the end of the day, it's also not good for us because now we have to be at our best in every particular game. So I don't think they're going to be necessarily scared of us, but they are going to be more careful. So that's how I see it.
Wow, that's interesting to know. The next question is Pep absence in the Premier League going to affect Arsenal's dominance in a positive way or negative way?
So in my view, Pep leaving is going to help Arsenal a lot, especially Arteta, because Pep is that guy. So in my view, Pep is the best manager in the EPL. I know people will say Sir Alex and others, but in my view, Pep is the best. So Pep leaving is going to open that door for Arteta to win more trophies in the EPL. I feel when after Pep leaves, probably the only coach or manager who is at that level is Unai Emery, and Unai Emery is a coach of Aston Villa. And Aston Villa, even though it's a top club, it's not in that rank of Liverpool or Chelsea, and they don't have that fans to buy all these players for Unai Emery to be able to compete with Arteta. So I feel with Pep leaving, it's going to help Arteta. Especially if you take all these coaches coming in, Enzo Maresca, Ancelotti, who I feel should not be still the coach at Liverpool, but he's still the new coach for Chelsea. Oscar Alonso is, even though he's experienced in the EPL as a player, as a coach, he's not that experienced. So I feel if you take all these coaches into consideration, the one who is probably a bit closer to Arteta is Emery, and Emery is a coach of Aston Villa. So it opens, as I said, it opens the door for Arteta to be able to win more trophies and dominate the EPL.
I think Pep's absence in the Premier League is going to give us a lot of positives, because for a long time, Arteta was working under the shadows of Guardiola. He had that, boss apprentice mentality. And once Guardiola was in the league, he had his number a lot of occasions, because he was second for 3 seasons in a row, and most of those times Guardiola was victorious, right? Now Guardiola is no more in the league, and as it stands now, Arteta is the longest serving Premier League manager in the Premier League, right? So he now has the kind of the boss mentality. All the new coaches coming, Xabi Alonso, the City's new coach, they are going to be like new. They are going to have like a learning curve. And Arteta already has like a big hand in the Premier League for now. And I think that's going to be a big factor. He's now his own boss. And he's going to come out of the shadows. He's going to be more attacking, more determined, more intense. So I think like Guardiola leaving the Premier League is not only just good for Arteta's mentality, it's also good for Arsenal as a football club, because right now we have a manager who has like we have the backing. He has the backing of the club, the fans, the supporters all over the world, and that's going to just encourage him to do more. So I think that's going to be a big part of Arsenal winning and like winning more trophies in the next 5 to 10 years. I think we are going to take over English football for real, for sure. Yes.
See, I disagree with anybody who thinks Pep's departure creates any room for Arteta and his Arsenal. I have a complete, I completely disagree. You see, there's something called the law of diminishing returns, and in football, when projects get with heights and when players win it all, if you're not a Pep who can spice up and make strategic changes in the squad, the players would have had what they want. And so going forward in their minds, they have achieved what the project sought to achieve. And so they will not play with the same intensity. They will not play with the same urgency. And that is why I think Pep's departure has no impact on Arsenal as a team. Arsenal themselves have a team to manage. Arteta has a team to manage. After winning the EPL and going to Champions League semi-finals and finals back to back, you would have the zeal of the players to manage, because, mind you, Arsenal have been found out. And if you check the performance of Arsenal over the last 3 years, they have been found out. That is why earlier on, Danny was saying that they don't have any prolific striker who is giving you 20 plus goals per season. This season, 40% of their goals have come from set pieces, and they have been found out. And so going forward, they themselves would have to ignite a new zeal, which is very independent of whether Arteta, Pep is there or Pep is not there. I think that the project has come to an end where it has peaked. And when every project peaks, it begins to come down. And it might be an unpopular opinion, but the seasons ahead are the seasons where we'll begin to discover that, listen, that I mean, Bukayo is not the Bukayo we knew 4 years ago. They brought in the guy from Sporting. What's the guy's name? The guy from Sporting CP. He is not scoring as many goals as they thought. And so I don't think Arsenal are going to be first in the coming season. I don't think they are going to be second. They are going to be there. They are going to give troubles, I mean, to whoever are going to contend. But I don't think Pep's departure has any effect or impact on Arteta, or paves way for Arteta and his Arsenal in any way at all. Yeah.
You see what Steven said, like I understand his point, right? But I disagree on some scores, right? One of the things he said about us scoring from set pieces. Scoring from set pieces is not easy. If it was easy, everything will be scoring from set pieces, just like us now. Man U, the Liverpools and Man Cities, they also have set pieces. They try to score. They're not successful. That means it's not easy, right? So, and it's one thing that I feel like is set piece is part of football.
Mm-hmm.
If you can score a goal from a throw, score it. If you can score from a corner, you score it. There's no goal that is easy. The most difficult thing in football is put the ball in the back of the net, right? That's why we pay so much to watch football, and the fans are excited, right? So it doesn't matter how you score the goals. If it's set pieces, you score from set pieces. If it's open play, score from open play. So that's one. So I don't think that means Arsenal have been found out. We're a very effective team. We've been effective for the last 2 or 3 seasons, but we're not lucky. I'll put it that way. We're not lucky. And we had a mental block and a mental hurdle to overcome, because if you don't win something for so long, when you get to when you're almost at the end point, it's like it's too far out for you and that kind of thing, right? But we're able to overcome this time, and that gives you a different mentality. What I agree with is that Steve said something very important: managing the zeal. That's very important, because City even struggled with that under Guardiola, right? Haaland has won everything. He was the top scorer. KDB left. So at a point, you see that they're not playing with the same intensity they used to play, and that's why they lost. Like, they lost to Aston Villa at home, and then they drew with Bournemouth, because it's not the same Man City. Man City of 4 or 5 years ago would have won the league in this position, but they couldn't. So that means I agree with Steve on that, because we also have to manage the zeal. Arteta has to find a way of changing the style of play a little bit, bringing in some new players and letting go of some players as well, and trying to get players who are motivated to kind of like continue the legacy. So for that, I agree with Stephen, but that's for every title winning team. Every title winning team suffers from the same thing. So Arsenal is not unique in that regard. Ferguson had to do it for so long with United. Yeah, once Ronaldo left, you have to bring on some other people. Whatever the case may be, you have to still bring on new players. That's why City brought on Haaland at a point, although they were like the top team in England. They had to bring on Haaland because they still needed like the energy and the intensity. So for that, I agree. But I still feel like Guardiola leaving, personally for Arteta, is going to kind of remove that mental hurdle. So that's what I still think.
Target, I have something to say. I think my Arsenal brother is missing the point. And I'll explain to you why he's missing the point. Arsenal themselves, and if you check the number of goals that Arsenal scored 3 seasons ago, Arsenal scored 88 goals overall in the EPL. The season after, they scored 91. This season, they scored 69 overall. And before we entered the season that just ended, Arsenal beefed up their squad. They brought in a player like Victor Gyökeres, to stabilize the front. They brought in, Martin Zubimendi to replace Thomas Partey, who was exiting to Spain, and that gave them a certain stability and some kind of a balance, right? But if you check the number of goals they scored the past season, 69. What does it tell you? It only tells you that how prolific their attackers have plummeted. They are not as sharp as they were a season before. And it is just natural. Teams have found them out. And if Liverpool and Man City had like their top form, Arsenal would have had a very big trouble. But they did not, because City themselves were beginning to dwindle. Their performances were beginning to dwindle. Liverpool were nowhere to be found. Chelsea were lost in the woods. Manchester United came on along the line when Amorim left and Carrick took over. And so, you see, when projects get to their peak, things align. It's just football. I mean, I've watched football over decades, and I've seen that when projects get to their peak, in years where a team would win trophies, things just align. It just happens that this season, all the other contenders did not have their A game. And so it made way for Arsenal. It doesn't mean Arsenal themselves were any exceptional. Yes, they have been consistent. They are a superb side. They are the side to beat. But I just want Fred to understand that, one, Arsenal have been found out. Two, they are not as prolific as they were. Their attackers are not as sharp as they are. Going into the next season, their squad is not as zealous as they have been. And so if you have a squad that is not as zealous, the zeal with which they played this season is because they don't want to be the laughing stock. They don't want to be the project that will come so close to the title and not have any silverware to show. And so going into the next season, they have won it all. They have come, very close to silverware in the Champions League. They have won the EPL after 20 years and over. What else inspires them to go? And so I think that Fred should just understand and manage his hope and expectation, because I won the league last season and I beefed up my squad with the likes of I beefed up with about 500 million pounds, and here am I, wandering about. So Fred should just manage his hope and expectation, because he is not coming anywhere close to first or second in the coming season. Yeah.
Okay, Steve, I'm listening to Steve, but my brother Steve, my Liverpool brother, I have a lot of rebuttals and disagreements with some of the points you made. Number one, you seem to think there's a correlation with the number of goals teams score and winning the league. Goals don't win leagues. It's defense that win leagues all the time. We have 38 matches in the league, right, in the season. If you're able to beat every team 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 and score 40 goals, I'm sure you have won all the matches. I'm sure you win the league, because some teams will draw matches and lose matches. If I score 50 goals and I win the league and you score 100 goals, it's irrelevant. The goal is to win the league, is not to score the most goals. That's the point of football. There's no correlation with the number of goals you score and winning the league. Bear in mind, there are different reasons why you score more or less goals. Look at this season in the Premier League. The difference between the team that is 5th or 6th and 16th, the gap is just 10 points. What does that tell you? Teams are tougher to beat, right? Arsenal has won this league based on defense. Our defense has been the best. So we focus on defense. We try to win matches by making sure we don't concede a lot of unnecessary goals. In the past, we used to score a lot of goals under Arsene Wenger, but we used to lose a lot of matches because we used to play a very free flowing football. Right now, we are focusing on defense. So I want to let Steve understand, and I get your point. But if you say we found out because we scored 69 goals, it doesn't really matter how many goals you score. We won the league. Those who score 100 goals, what's their position in the league? Probably 7 for 8. If Liverpool scored more goals than us, presumably. But how's the benefit of scoring more goals if you are struggling to enter the Champions League? I'm not sure you are celebrating your goals right now, right? We are celebrating the league winners. So it doesn't matter if you score 100 goals or 70 goals. Every season is different. So there are some seasons that we had more points and then we scored more goals, but we didn't win the league. But those seasons were different. I prefer us to score 50 goals and win the league than score 100 goals and be 7th or 10th like Chelsea or Liverpool, right? So, Stephen, there's no correlation with, we have to understand football. Football is about winning a match. If I win a match 1-0, I get 3 points. How does it benefit you to play 5-5 and get 1 point and say, okay, I entertain the fans, but you still had 1 point? And I had 1-0. Most of our matches that were very important for us, we had 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. That's what wins you the league. Defense. How you prevent teams from scoring you. That's football.
So where I do agree with my friend who is a Ghana is that for me, if I'm a coach and I'm coming into a new year or a new season and my issue is my attack. So I have a good goalkeeper and my defense is very good. Also the middle of the pack is very good. And my only issue is the attack. Obviously, I need to buy 1 or 2 players to change the whole shape of the attack. And that's where I feel for them is very good because, as I said, they have a very good goalkeeper. Their defense is very good. Also, in the middle of the park, they are very good. So the attack, obviously, they need to sell some of the players and buy new players to change the attack. And I also agree. So if your defense is very good, you can go very far, either in the league or even FA Cup, Champions League. So that's what will actually win you all these titles. And for me as a Chelsea fan, I'm very used to it. We've won Champions League with our defense being very good,
Yes.
our attack being very, very bad or blunt. So that's where I do agree with him that for his team, they have a key. So there are some key parts of their team which is very good, and they can build on those parts to have like a good team going to the for the new year. The next point is that Arteta is now one of the most, in terms of the APL, so it's one of the most experienced. If you take all these coaches, there's Ancelotti there who won the league last year, but he's been very poor this season. And I don't think, I don't expect anything like to change from what we saw last season with Slot and this upcoming season. And there are other teams like, if you take Manchester United, there's Carrick, who I still think is still new to this for a big club, and for my club Chelsea, Alonso coming in. So as I said, I expect Arsenal and Arteta to still be the key, the big team in the EPL going into the new season, based on all these things that I've already mentioned.
All right, so you are going to move on to the Champions League that is coming up this weekend. And I want to know your opinion. Who do you think is going to win the Champions League, and how do you think the game is going to pan out? I think I'll start with Steven.
Okay, I mean, I think I would approach it from tactical perspective briefly, and then from a feeling perspective. I think I would prefer Arsenal to win the Champions League. Come on, Arsenal have come very far. I mean, the last 8 years of Arsenal's life has been one of a story that would be beautifully told if they were to win the Champions League. I mean, they have paid the price for it. They have recruited the right personnel for it. They have been consistent. In my opinion, I think Arsenal have been the most consistent team in Europe the last 3 seasons or 4. And so it's only nice that they get the crown, they get the Champions League to crown their effort. What is unfortunate for them is that they are meeting a Luis Enrique side. I mean, which throws it off balance, because Luis Enrique's side has everything. I mean, they are as fast as Arsenal. Their defense might not be as solid as Arsenal, but their forward is something else. They have forward line players who can hit you every minute of the game, and so tactically, I think we should expect a more fluid game. We should expect Arsenal to sit back a little and hit PSG on the counter, and we should expect a game like the Bayern and PSG game, something like that. The first leg, a more fluid game, a game where we can all enjoy. But at the end of the day, personally, I would prefer Arsenal to win. Tactically, I think it's up for grasp. PSG can win, Arsenal can win. But if you ask personally who I'd want to lift the trophy, I think Arsenal deserve it more.
So for me, I think PSG will win. Who do I hope will win? My hope is PSG to win. And that's because I'm a Chelsea fan. So obviously I don't hope for Arsenal to win the Champions League. But there are 3 main reasons why I think for PSG they will win. First is the coach that they have. So he's been there before with Barca, and now with his new team PSG, he's gone to 2 Champions League final and he's won both. So his experience with going to the Champions League final and also winning. So that's one reason. And the next reason is PSG, because they won it last year. It's almost the same team or the same players, and so I expect them. So when it gets to that time, for experience and everything, I expect them to have it as compared to Arsenal. So the last time Arsenal went to the Champions League final was in 2006. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So they don't have that experience at that stage. So that's one reason why I feel this PSG team will win. And the other reason is that when you take so for a team, you have the goalkeeping, the defense, the midfield and attack. I feel the place where there's a huge gap between PSG and Arsenal, in terms of it going the way of Arsenal, is the goalkeeping side.
Okay.
Where there's for when it comes to goalkeeping side, Arsenal is very like their goalkeeper is way ahead of the goalkeeper for PSG.
Yeah.
But in terms of the defense, even though I think the defense of Arsenal is a bit better as compared to that of PSG, the gap is not that much.
Yeah.
If you come to the midfield, I think PSG is better.
Mm-hmm.
In the attack, after the attack, there's no comparison. When you take Doué and Quara and Ousmane Dembele, as compared to the attack of Arsenal, where you have Madueke, Martinelli, Saka, Havertz, that's not a comparison. So if you take the team as a whole, I feel for PSG, their team is much more stronger as compared to the team of Arsenal. And especially the attack, how they move. So there are even times where the one who gets to the end of the attack is Hakimi, and Hakimi is the right back. So he can go all the way to the attack. And so with how they move, I feel with all those movements, it's going to affect Arsenal a bit. Arsenal don't have a threat, like a known threat going forward. Ideally, if you play a team like PSG and you have attackers who are very quick, not just quick, but attackers who are very quick and very good, then you can hit them on the break. But Arsenal don't have that. In fact, so the one who you feel is quick is Martinelli. And Martinelli, even though he's quick, he's not that like in terms of the ball intelligence. I feel he doesn't have that.
Not that clinical.
So these are the main reasons why I feel for PSG they have the upper hand in this game. And also, if Arsenal, which I think will be the case, Arsenal will give the ball to PSG a lot. And PSG are not one of those teams who, when you give them the ball, they will just be playing at the back or just in front of you. So they do have all these players who have their eye for that pass, and they can break your line. Even though Arsenal defense is very good, I feel they have those players who can give that pass to break the line, and they have all these attackers who can switch and move, and that might cause that kind of confusion in that defense. So with all this being said, I hope PSG win. I pray PSG win, and I know they will win.
Yeah, so for me, obviously, Gunners for life, right? I think Arsenal is going to crown this season with like a wonderful victory over PSG. And I mean, we can talk tactics and all that, but we don't know how the match is going to turn out to be. I feel like I have a feeling we are going to play total football. Like, if you see the Inter Milan that won the Champions League, that kind of football, that's what we are going to be. We are going to be very effective. PSG has very good attack, right? But then when you have a team that is very free flowing, that plays very free flowing football, what does it mean? They leave a lot of options at the back. Because you cannot be that like lethal in terms of free flowing. Because once their fullbacks are involved, how does it give Saka and Izzy and Trossard? They can hit them on the counter, right? That's one. The second thing is about the defense, right? I'm sure we'll talk about the defense more in detail, but one thing you have to notice that PSG has very good individual defenders, but they don't defend very well as a team. That's different from like having good defenders. Arsenal, most of our defense is not only Saliba and Gabriel. Most of our defense is Declan Rice. He can cover ground. If you remember Kante in Chelsea, Kante was giving Chelsea a good defense because it's like two in one. The second balls, the loose balls, is there. Those are the things that make you a very strong defensive team. It's not just the center backs. Because center backs, once you expose them, sometimes it's just one-on-one. A very good attacker can dribble in a good center back, right? So it's not only about the center backs. The PSG has, I even think Marquinhos will probably even be better than Saliba, to be honest. But Saliba and Gabriel form a very good partnership. And then they have Declan Rice in front of them who can cover ground. He can run into channels. That's what causes, and then we have Timber. If Timber comes back, I think that's going to make us kind of extra because he's one of the best one-on-one defenders in the world, not just in England football. He can match anybody. So we have Timber as well. But I think we are going to win the game by total football. We are not going to be very super effective. Something like a 2-0 or a 1-0 kind of game. We are not going to give them a lot of spaces. They are the best attack, we are the best defense. Wow. And as I said, yes, they are the best attack and we are the best defense. We are not going to play 5-5 like by Minigo. We are not that open. We have, and don't forget we also have Gyökeres. And when I say defense, sometimes you see defense is not only even the back line. Gyökeres occupies the center backs very well.
Oh.
Once he occupies the center backs, the attack starts from the back, right? If you occupy the center backs, they cannot pass well effectively. That means they'll be left with loose balls. And we have Rice in the center, we have Easy. So Danny talked about our attack and he said our attack is not that good. Well, yeah, man for man in terms of performance, but you cannot really underrate our attack. We have Havertz, who has been at the top, who has scored the Champions League winning goal before. We have Saka, who is a world-class player. We have Eze, who is phenomenal. Eze is somebody that, what I like about Eze is that you cannot predict his next move. He can shoot with both legs, left and right. Very accurate. He has the star factor. We are going to catch them with some very, very easy goals. Set pieces, corners, throw-ins. We know how they are going to play. We know that if we defend very well, we can hold them. But they cannot really hold our attack because we have very different dimensions for our attack. We don't have one way of scoring. And that's very difficult because if we had a Lewandowski or a Kane that the goal is going to come from Kane, it's very easy to mark Kane out. You don't know whether it's Hincapié going to score a goal from a corner, or it's going to be Odegaard, or it's going to be Rice, a free kick, or it's going to be Saka with a true ball. You don't really know who's going to score. And that's the exciting thing about us is that we don't really know who's going to score. So I think that's what that factor of unpredictability is what I think is going to get out over the line. I mean, it's like tactically it's a 50-50 match because the two sides are evenly squared, for this game. But I think with the season we've had and just winning the Premier League alone, the boost is going to give us is going to be massive.
I see. I like the way you said defense meets attack. Let's see what Steven thinks about it.
Fred said concerning they having an upper hand tactically. I don't think if that's true because you're playing against a Luis Enrique side who have been there, who were there a year ago, and who have shown that they are able to deliver on that kind of stage. What I think Arsenal has, the advantage that I think Arsenal has over PSG is that they have a centre-back pair who have played themselves, who are, who play in a compact way that would make it difficult for the front line, a little bit difficult for the front line of PSG. Other than that, and maybe in the middle, but even that in the middle, PSG have a combination that are very solid. I mean, Vitinha is a great guy who shield their, back two and provide them with some freedom to move, allow Hakimi to move along the flanks, go and come in that way. So again, I would expect Arsenal fans to go into the Champions League finals with managed expectations. They have the chance to win. I don't think they go into the game as underdogs. I don't think they go in as underdogs. I still think PSG are favorites, like I said, but I hope that Arsenal wins. But Arsenal fans like Fred shouldn't go into the game with high hopes, thinking they are going to bulldoze their way. You are going to play against Luis Enrique. He's seen it all. So they should calm down and hope that they get, lucky as they have over the season.
Yes. So one thing that I feel Arsenal will have to do, or one issue we'll face, is across the defense. So the left back, obviously, we know who's going to play in Nkapie, the two people in the middle, but the issue is the right back. So ideally, the one to play is Timber. He's injured. The next person to play is Ben White. He's also injured. So which means the one who's going to play is Mosquera. And he's not he's not a known right back. And it's going to be, the one is going to face at that side is Quara. And Quara, Quara we know is a menace. We know after the first, so he'll be coming to you from the first minute to the end of the game. And it's going to come to you every time or every chance that he gets. So that's one area that I feel for Arsenal they need to look at. Because I feel as a back four, if they had their right back there, I'm sure they should be good. But with him not being there, and even White, I feel White is worse than any of the other options. So that area of the field, I feel is a key point, which means anyone who is going to play the right wing will need to come back a lot to stop Quara. Because if you leave him with the one who's going to play the right back, which is Mosquera, it's going to be bad. So that's one area that's not, I feel they need to look at. Another area is who's going to start in attack. I feel and I know for a fact that in big games, the one who starts in attack is Scarabet. The main attacker is not going to play. For big games, ever since Scarabet came back, he's the one playing almost all the big games. So I think Scarabet is going to play. And as Fred already said, he's been there.
What do you think about Havertz dropping into midfield, and how is it going to help us control the game? Well, Havertz is like a drop. It's like a second striker.
I know. So Havertz likes to come inside and allow the two wingers to actually go.
Overlap, yeah.
That's one thing. But I also feel one main reason why the coach might or will use Havertz is because he's very good in the air. So and I know PSG is going to press. So when they press, one option is to go long. And if you have Havertz there, so there's only one defender who is probably very, very good in the air as compared to Havertz, is Pacho. But if Havertz moves to the other pair, I feel he's going to win a lot of the balls. And that's another option. If you watch the match we play, my team, Chelsea, play against Man City in the Champions League right now, after we scored a goal, we were going long to Havertz. And he was winning a lot of these balls. So I feel that's one option that you have in terms of attack. Well, even though I tell you attack is very bad or blunt, that's one option to go. Especially if PSG, they press it, and they will press. We know for a fact they will press a lot. So if you can go long to Havertz where he wins one or two balls, and then your attackers on the wings can pick those balls.
What do you think of Trossard?
I think he will start. So the only issue with him is that he's not that quick now, as compared to Martinelli.
But he's one of our most clinical players.
He's very good in terms of the play as compared to Martinelli, but it's not that quick. And I feel in this match you need players who are quick. That's why, because Hakimi is going to leave space. Hakimi is going to go all the way for it. So if you have players who are very quick, they can take those spots and take advantage of it.
We're going to talk about which players to keep, sell, or loan for the upcoming season. And we are going to start with our Arsenal fan, Frederick. So I'm going to mention the name of the current Arsenal players, and you let me know which players to keep, sell, or loan, and why. So we'll be starting with the goalkeeper, David Raya. What do you think?
Keep. Best keeper in the world.
Ben White.
Ben White, I think sell, because he's had a poor season, and then I think his time at Arsenal is up. We need a different player for that position. So I think, yeah.
Okay. Gabriel.
Oh, best defender in the world. Stays.
Timber.
Best right back in the world. Stays.
Saliba.
Best centre half in the world. Stays.
Decline.
Rice.
Yes.
Best midfielder in the world. Ballon d'Or contender. Stay.
Martin Odegaard.
Odegaard is I'm in the middle. I think last season at Arsenal, so stay.
Okay. Kai
Havertz stay. I like him.
Gabriel Martinelli.
Martinelli, I think we should sell him because we need a different. He's been at Arsenal, he has won it now, and he's going to win the Champions League. So after the Champions League, yeah, you can say bye, and you probably go to Brazil or Italy. So yeah.
What about Saudi?
No, that's too much money for him. It's a small boy.
Okay, Saka.
Best winger in the world. Stay.
Gabriel Jesus.
You have to sell. You have to sell to Chelsea probably because he's like he can help them from 10th to 7th.
Ricardo.
Califiori. Oh, he's a great guy. He should stay. Yes.
Okay, Ethan.
Ethan has to probably go on loan again. I think this time he has to go on loan to a Premier League side, and then if he proves himself, then after the next season after that, he can come to us now.
Oh, okay.
He's a good player.
Lastly, Trossard.
Trossard is tactically a lot of Arsenal fans may say he should go, but I wouldn't because aside Saka is my favorite Arsenal player. So obviously I'll be biased. He has to stay. Yeah, my favorite Arsenal player is Saka, and then the next is Trossard.
Out of the list for his team Arsenal, I think the only part is the players for the left wing. I feel they need one new player there.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
either
I agree.
so either Martinelli or his player that he likes a lot.
Trossard.
So one of these players needs to move. Yeah, apart from that, I think all the players he decided to keep, I'll keep.
Mm.
All the players that he thought maybe sell, like Ben White. I feel after his English had a very poor time.
Will you take Jesus to Chelsea?
I'm not taking Jesus to Chelsea.
But
So the issue with Jesus is that first of all, his pay is very high because he came from Man City
Yeah.
so his pay is, I think his pay is over £200,000
Yes.
per week.
Yeah.
So obviously his wage bill is very high.
But he can help you
And-
guys become seventh.
And the issue is that he's always injured. And obviously the pace and other attributes that he had, I feel all these attributes have already come down.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking him. And the thing is that we sell our bench players to you, not the other way around. So I don't know why.
When did you start?
Always we sold Madueke to you.
But he has won the
Just Sterling to you.
No, it's not a bench player.
Check like any player that we don't like, we give it to you, and we
So it's your intention to help us win the Premier League. Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay, so now we are going to the Chelsea fan, Daniel.
Yeah.
So I'm going to mention the names, and you let me know whether they should sell them, loan them, or keep. All right. So starting with the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez.
So I'll keep him not as my main keeper, but as a bench keeper. So I need an upgrade on him, but I'll keep him as the bench keeper.
Okay. What about Philip Jorgensen?
So but he thinks he's a top keeper, but he's not that top keeper.
Oh,
So
really?
so I think we should sell him.
Okay. Cucurella.
I'll keep Kuku. He's one of the most experienced players we have, so I'll keep him.
What about Tosin?
Sell and don't look back.
Oh, Benoit.
Sell.
Levi Cole.
Keep. He's one of the most promising players we have. Very
Sa.
good. Loan. I'll loan Sa.
To where?
To the French league where he came from. I feel he's a very good player, but I think he needs a loan.
Joel Hato.
Keep. Hato has been one of our best players we bought this past season.
Chalobah.
I'll keep him for the bench. I don't think he should be a starter.
Starting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll keep Chalobah for depth in our squad.
Okay. What about James?
Keep.
Gasto.
He's good for the bench. So ideally, if you have him as our bench right back, very good. But I feel with the injuries to James, he's been playing more games than I actually wanted or expected. So if a good offer comes, I'll sell. If not, I'll keep. Yeah, just
okay. Fofana.
Sell. He's on high wage. He's been injured most times, and anytime he comes back, he gets our last game. So he got a red card in our last game, and just this season he had 2 red cards in games that we should be winning. And anytime he gets a red card, whilst he's going off the field, yeah, he'll be smiling or laughing. I don't think he's that player that we need in a top team like Chelsea.
Wow.
So sell.
Okay. What about Josh Achampon?
Loan. He's one of the players he's one of the players from the academy.
Okay.
He's very good, but I feel we've kept him in the team for far too long. And his progression has been slow or stunted. So I think he needs a good loan spell in a team in the EPL.
Oh, okay. What about Enzo?
I'll keep Enzo, but I feel he does not want to be here. So he wants to leave, to go to a big club because he's a big player. So he won the World Cup very young. So he has a big ambition. He has this big ambition stuff. So, and he's been here for 4 years and he's played the Champions League probably once. Which is not good for a big player like him. So I'll keep, but I feel he wants to go.
Okay, what about Santos?
I'll keep for depth, but if not, again, if a good offer comes from him, I'll sell.
Wow, okay. Casido.
Keep.
Lavia.
So he's been injured. See, for Lavia, we bought him for the past 3 seasons, and he's yet to play one full game.
Wow.
He's yet to play one full game, and he gets injured almost like anything. Anything gets him injured. So, so there's a good player in there, but I feel with the injuries, it's too much. So I'll sell Lavia.
Pedro Neto.
Pedro Neto is one of the players that, if you ask half of the Chelsea fans, they'll say sell. Half of them will say keep. I will keep because he's probably one of the most experienced players on the wings for us, and we have a lot of young players on the wings. So I'll keep for his last season. I feel it's capped in terms of talent. So he's there now. I don't expect him to do anything special, but he's one of those players who can give you a 6 or 7 in most games. So I'll keep.
What about Bilal?
So, and don't look back. That guy is the worst striker we've ever bought. He's like a wrestler. Like, he sees the ball here and he goes for the player. So
goes for the player, not the ball. All right, cool. Palmer.
I'll keep. He had a bad season, but he's still cool. But he has that magic in his feet. So, for a player like that, he just needs the confidence and for him to be fit. I feel the injuries did affect him a bit, so I'll keep.
What about Pedro? João Pedro.
Keep is very good. He scored a lot of goals for us this past season. Yes, one of them. So the players we bought last season, he number 1 and the number 2 will be Hatu. So
okay. Stavo William.
Stavo keep is a young talent, very talented, but also he had a lot of injuries this past season. But he's a player I'll keep all day.
What about Garnacho?
Alejandro. If there's any player I knew will not work at Chelsea, it's Garnacho. And it's not because of his attitude or anything. It's because of the style that he plays. He's not a player who has that skill like Eden Hazard to move through players and stuff. And Chelsea meets most teams that they pack the bus. So he usually likes space to operate. And so I knew for sure his buy was not going to work. So sell, I'm sure he will get a good team to give like Everton and stuff to come for him.
Okay. So lastly, Modric.
Modric, he's been on suspension for some time because of the drug issue. I feel it's time to release him. Not sell, but to release him. Because it's been almost 2 years since he had that ban. And we've not seen him. So I'll release Modric.
Okay. Again, I'll go to Steven. What do you think about Danny's answers?
I think what Danny didn't tell you is that the principal people who should leave Chelsea are the Clear Lake people. Begdad Bali, Todd Bowley, Feliciano. Those are the guys who should go before the list Danny brought up. But yeah, I can agree with him on that. But I mean, Blue Lake should go. Todd Bowley and his squad, all of them, they should just find their way out because they are not managing Chelsea the way they should. And clearly, it's beginning to look to me like they have no clue what they are doing. They are testing and trying. When they first got hold of Chelsea, I observed a trend, or a pattern. When they hear that Pep wants a player, they will just quickly jump ahead of Pep and go and get him because if Pep wants him, he's probably a good player. And now it's not. They are just testing and trying. They should exit, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I don't know, Danny. Most of the players Target mentioned, you are not convinced about most of the players in the squad. So at this point, they should just shut down the club because
that's a hater right there.
Because for Arsenal, at least I had like 90% of the squad that I wanted to be kept or loaned, like even maybe 5% loaned out and maybe 5% sold. But Chelsea,
of course, you had a good season, so you expect a lot of your players to stay. That's like
yes. So Arsenal, when we had 8 positions in a row, we didn't sell most of our squad. Like you that you are trying to basically close down your club.
No,
right? So but to be honest, I agree with you. Most of the players, I think, even Sam, for example, your striker,
I thought João Pedro.
I think he has some offers from some club. It's possible he may leave.
Of course, Barcelona and Cuba. I'm not sure he's going to leave.
Yeah, it's possible. So that should just let you know that I think Chelsea is getting into a small club where, like, right now the B class are coming for your top players. And,
Of course, we said,
and we may also look at some of your players and see who we can get. Well,
we'll give you the bench player. Like, if you
gave us Madueke, who won at the league. So
if you bring an offer for,
so
if you bring an offer for any of our bench players, like maybe the Lap and stuff.
So for example, if Odegaard goes and we have Izzy as our number 10, we need a backup for Izzy, and we'll come for Kopama. So that's one thing we'll consider. But I agree with most of the things you said.
So we are moving to Steven. I'll be mentioning your players and then you let me know which to keep, sell, or loan. Alisson Becker.
Keep.
Georgie.
Keep as backup.
Okay, moving to the defenders. We have Gomez.
Gomez, I think it's time for maybe one. He should have one last dance and then he can exit.
Van Dijk.
Keep. Super player. Best centre back of all time.
Konate.
Konate keep. If he wants to stay, keep.
Bradley.
Conor Bradley keep.
Okay, Frimpong.
Frimpong should go. I mean, it didn't work out. He was brought on to replace Trent, but obviously it hasn't worked out, and so Liverpool should look at an option. I mean, a new right back option.
Okay. So looking at the midfielders, we have Vets.
Yeah, Florian Wirtz definitely has to stay. He's one of the finest guys you can find on the market right now. He definitely has to stay.
Endo
Atara should. I think it's time for him to maybe go to, take up a new challenge so he can leave.
Dominic.
But Liverpool's best player for the last 2 seasons, he's not going nowhere.
McAllister.
Alexis McAllister should stay.
All right, so let's look at the forwards. We have Isak.
Alexander Isak, I think his first season hasn't been the best. He hasn't had the best of seasons. He was brought on for a record fee, but it hasn't worked out. So if you want to sell him, it's a huge loss. So we should keep him for a few seasons and see how that goes.
Okay, Chiesa.
Rico Chiesa, keep.
Gakpo.
For Kodegaku to exit. I mean, he's had enough, but you see, he's not going to go. As long as Anslot remains Liverpool manager, his countryman Cody Gakpo is going to be there, sadly, but it's time for him to leave.
Yeah, so for me, Steve, I think I largely agree with everything Steve has said. Most of the players he has said. I think Liverpool also needs an overhaul, right? I think Liverpool it's not some of the players even Steve wants them to keep. I'm not sure it's from Steve's heart because it's like somebody like Chiesa, for example. I don't know, like it's not a top player. It's not somebody who's going to change their squad. And is he somebody who like to keep as a backup? I would say no. So Liverpool needs a big overhaul. They need probably like 5 players, 5 top class, and they need to let some of the players go. Even Hugo Ekitike, I don't think he's a next Torres for whatever. Their main goal of a striking solution was Isak. And if Isak doesn't work out, I don't think Ekitike as a backup is going to work for a club as big as Liverpool, who are Torres, Suarez, that kind of thing. Liverpool needs a good player. If Liverpool were like the big club they used to be, they should have gone for Alvarez, right, Julian. But I don't think Liverpool is going to get that kind of player. But they need that kind of player. I don't know if they can go and grab Lewandowski for like 2 seasons and see if they can get them back into the like top 2 like championship like stance. But I think Liverpool needs an overhaul. Chiesa, even Gravenberch, like all those guys, they're very good players, but they are not world-class players for Liverpool, right? McAllister is good. Dominic is very good. Who else? Florian Wirtz is also, I think, is also someone I would like to keep at Liverpool. He's a very good player. But even the centre back, only Van Dijk. I'll ask Konate to go. They need 2 players to come and partner Van Dijk because bear in mind, Steve, Van Dijk this is probably going to be his last season, right? So you need someone who will come and take over the mantle at Liverpool and be like the next Van Dijk. So if Van Dijk is the one you are keeping and Konate is not somebody you can rely on, Liverpool has some big decisions to make.
I think, Target, what I agree to some extent with what Fred is saying at the centre back. I mean, we weren't allowed to talk about oncoming signings, but oncoming players. I think we are going to the market this season. I mean, this summer, and we'll get some centre backs or some, defenders. But when it comes to Federico Chiesa, Ryan Gravenberch, Hugo Ekitike. These are top guys. You see, the reason why last season you did not see the best of these guys is Anslot. He's solely to blame for that. Federico Chiesa, he hasn't given the guy enough time to prove himself. Every time Chiesa has come on, he has showed his mettle. He has showed that given enough time, he will add something to the team. He's just not had that time. And I mean, look at Slot starting Cody Gakpo ahead of Rio Ngomoha. And so a lot of the downfalls of Liverpool this season or the past season was Slot. And so I won't put all the blame on the players. And that is why I'll keep Ryan Gravenberch. The season before last season, Ryan was the best defensive midfielder. I mean, take it or leave it. He was our best. And so I will not let Ryan Gravenberch go just because the season that ended was bad. I'll put some kind of a blame on the system that Slot is changing and the fact that he's not giving Chiesa and co equal opportunity to show what they have.
That was a good discussion. We've come to the end of this video. If you liked our discussion, please don't forget to like this video, share, and if you are new, please subscribe. It will help us to give you more authentic content. We will see you in the next video. Global Go Pause. Feel the pause. Let's go.